Hello and welcome to the Analysis Grid tutorial. Today we're going to take a look at what an analysis grid is that you will find on some of the reports in our Report and Resource Center. So what is an analysis grid? You're going to see that it is a toolbar that is offered on selected reports in our Report and Resource Center. It's going to allow you to customize your data display. You're going to be able to tailor these reports specifically to your needs. Now, not every report is going to offer the Analysis Grid toolbar option at the top, and for the reports that do offer it, you'll see that the options that appear are going to be appropriate for the type of data that's displayed in that report. So let's take a look. As you can see here, this is an example of a report that does contain the Analysis Grid. This is Report 202. And the Analysis Grid is right here along the top where you can see a series of all of these different buttons. And we're going to walk through and I'm going to show you what each one of these buttons can do for you. Let's first take a look at the Layout button. The Layout button allows you to select only the columns that you want to view. Let's take a look to see how this works. You can find the button on your Analysis Grid toolbar right here. And when you click on it, it's going to open up a little menu that contains all of the columns that are available in this report. And as you can see, you can simply check on or off the boxes for the columns that you want to see. This allows you to tailor your report exactly to what you're going to need to do your analysis. When you've completed selecting all of the columns that you want to view, simply click the OK button. As you can see, the report has refreshed. We can close this little drop-down menu by clicking the Layout button again. And as you can see, our report now only contains the columns that we're interested in viewing. Now let's take a look at the Formula option. The Formula option allows you to add columns to your report with customized formulas. I'm going to show you where the Formula Help button is so that it'll help you to develop some more complex calculations. And what this will do is help you to create custom calculations for the number, text, or date fields in your report. Let's take a look. The Formula button is going to be on the far left side of your Analysis Grid toolbar. And when you click it, you can see it opens up so you can enter in all this information to create your customized formula. Now today we're going to do a simple difference formula with two numeric fields as an example. So you can create the name of your column by entering it into the name field. And then you choose which columns you're going to insert to your calculation. So I'm going to select Order Total column by clicking the Insert button. It adds it to my formula box. And from there, I can add all of my mathematical operators like subtraction or addition signs or whatever you'd like. The next thing I'm going to do is add the other fields to complete this calculation. So as you can see, I'm selecting two numeric fields to determine the difference in between them. Underneath that, you'll find a drop-down for your data type where you can select if it's a number, a text, or a date field. And below that, you choose the output format. So in this instance, I'm using two fields that contain currency, which is PO spend, and that's why I'm going to select the currency option. Now when we click Add, it's going to add this column to our report. Now as you can see, the report will reload, and over here we have our new calculated column showing the difference between these other two numeric columns. I do want to point out that you can also use the Formula Help button right here at the top, and this is going to open up a help sheet that's going to display how you would develop customized formulas for different things that you might want to calculate. Now, once you've created a custom option in any of our Analysis Grid buttons, you can see that it's going to add those to the bottom of the box here so you can see exactly the formula that I added here. And I have the option to replace this calculation or this customized option by adding in my new parameters and clicking Replace, or I can remove it from my custom report by clicking the Remove button. Next, let's take a look at the sorting option in our Analysis Grid toolbar. This is going to allow you to sort your report by any selected column. The sorting button is going to be right here on your analysis grid toolbar. And when you click that, you can easily select the column that you'd like to sort by. Say, for example, if you wanted to sort your report by dates, you could select a date field. You can choose whether you want it to sort in ascending or descending order, and then you would simply click Add, and it would add that sorting feature to your report. Let's take a look at filtering. The filtering button allows you to filter your report by any value contained within your report. And this is going to provide you with a lot more customization for your filters than what you might find on the report parameters page. The filtering button can be found here in the center of your analysis grid toolbar. And you can see that when you click it, you simply have to designate which column you'd like to filter by. For this example, we're going to select registration type. And then there is a drop-down menu of different comparisons. So you can choose something that's equal to, greater than, less than. Or for text fields, we can use the starts with or contains options. For this, I want to filter out any registration types that are equal to self-registered. Click the Add button. And when the report refreshes, you can see that now in our report, our registration type column is now filtered out by all purchase orders that are made with self-registered vendors. Let's add a second filter. We're going to do an example of a keyword search. So let's add PR title. And since this is a text field, we want to find all PR titles that contain the word supplies. Let's add the second filter. And as you can see, our report is now filtered by two conditions. First, that the registration type is self-registered, and second, that it also would contain the word supplies in the PR title. Now let's take a quick look at how we use filter conditions like and versus or. Using the and or can toggle the filter conditions. If you use the word and in your filter conditions, your results are going to meet the conditions X and Y and Z criteria. This is going to result in your results being a little bit more restrictive since all of those conditions need to be met in the returned data. If you choose to use the or condition, it's going to result in your data meeting the condition X or the condition Y or the condition Z criteria, which could be much more broad. Let's take a look. As you can see, our filters are set to registration type and PR title containing the word supplies. And right before our second filter, you see the word and. If you hover over this, it allows you to toggle on this button to and versus or. Now right now it's set to include both of these conditions in our filter, but if I simply click the word and, the report will refresh, and now you see it's changed our filter conditions to select any registration type that may equal self-registered or any purchase order that contains the word supplies. So this is going to be a much larger data set since it's more broad. And that is how you can change between the and or operators on your filter conditions. The grouping option allows you to add groupings to your report by any selected column. When you're looking at some of your different reports or ways that you need to analyze your data, think about ways that you can group it. You can group it by date, by order number, maybe by preparer, maybe by purchase card holder. There's a lot of different ways this can help you take a look and summarize your data. Let's take a look at the grouping option. Simply click Group and you can select the column in which you wish to group. For this instance, let's take a look at how grouping by preparer would look. Simply click the Add button. And now you can see that dark gray lines have been added to this report with the preparer's name, and then below that you can see a list of every purchase order that that preparer has made. You even have the option here to exclude your detail rows. This will give you a quick list of every preparer summarized in this report. The aggregation feature allows you to aggregate your report by any selected column. Aggregations will calculate for the entire report and any groupings you may have added. You can use functions like sum, count, max and minimum, and many others. Aggregations are going to add much more insight once you've grouped your report. Let me show you. Simply come into your analysis grid toolbar and click the aggregate function. Now we're going to select a data column to aggregate. You can see we've already grouped this report by preparer, but let's say we want to take a look at the total number and spend for purchase orders that preparer has entered for our selected time period. So if we want to look at the order total, we're going to start by selecting the order total column, and we want to see the sum of that column. So our aggregate function allows us to select from a drop-down list where we're going to select the sum and then simply add that aggregation to the report. Now when your report refreshes, you can see that the aggregation has summed the order total for the entire report in this top line, and then above every preparer in their gray lines, it has provided a sum for the total purchase orders that they have entered for this time period. Now let's say we want to add one more layer. So let's say we want to know, in addition to the total spend of purchase orders they've entered, we want to look at the count. Now you can add a count to any field because it's simply counting the records. So let's add this over the order number field. We're going to select order number, and our aggregate function is going to be a count of records. Add that to your aggregation. And when the report refreshes, we can see now that we have a total count and aggregation for our entire report in the first line here with 128 records and a complete sum. And then above every preparer, we have a count and a total spend figure for all of the purchase orders that they have entered during this time period. And that's the power that aggregation can do for you, in addition to adding your groupings to every report. For those of you who like to see your data represented visually, we also have the option to add a chart. Simply click on the chart, and you can see we have several options for different types of graphs, everything from pie charts, bar charts, scatter plots, and gauges. You can play around and try them all. I'm going to show you quickly how to build a bar graph. Let's say we wanted to count total orders by their order status. We're going to select the column that we want to count first. Let's say status, and then we're going to select our data column. Now I don't want to see the sum of orders, so I want to actually find the count of how many orders are in each status. So I'm going to aggregate my data by selecting count, and then select add to add this chart to your report. Once your report refreshes, you can page down to the bottom and you can see that a chart was added, and this is showing graphically how many orders from this data set fall into each of the order status categories. Hovering over each one of these bars will show a tooltip, which will give you the actual count of orders in that category. The final feature on our analysis grid is our paging option. This allows you to customize paging on your report. When you click this button, you have the option to show all rows or define exactly how many rows that you would choose to see per page. Don't forget that once you've customized your report the way that you would like it, you can save your customized report to your favorites and give it a custom name. You can also use the scheduling feature to schedule this report with these customized options to come to your email whenever you would like. Let me show you how. In the upper right-hand corner of every report is the Save to Favorites button. Simply click Save to Favorites, give your report a name that's meaningful to you, and click Save. This report will then appear on your Report and Resource Center homepage at the top right-hand side in your favorites list. You can also use our export features to export your customized report. Your charts will export into the format that you choose, and you can also select the refresh button to refresh your report to its original format, removing all customizations. These buttons can be found right up here in the upper right-hand corner of your reports. You can export it to PDF, Excel, and some reports offer additional options. And then over here in the far right is the refresh button. Thank you so much for taking a look at how to use our Analysis Grid toolbars to customize your reports in the way that you need them. If you have any questions, please reach out to your account executive or myself, and we'd be happy to help you.